Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of almost called it the old podcast. We only do mindful minutes now for self-care segments, which we haven't done in a while. But let me just open my soda really quickly. This thing got all broken up around the sides because I was trying to grab one before I left this barbecue yesterday, and then it fell, and now I'm just gonna pour it into a glass because it's. So today, hopefully this doesn't spill everywhere. Okay. Whew. So, welcome back. In today's episode, I really wanted to just kind of go through I wanted to just joke around. I want to have all you listeners at some point call in or, comment or leave me a voice message with your most awkward moment or embarrassing moment. And that's what we're getting into today. So, get yourself something to drink or a snack, and let's get into it. Okay, so I have a few. So I asked ChatGPT some fun and funny things that I could share on the podcast, because honestly I wasn't really thinking of a lot of funny things, and so I was like, let me get some assistance with that. Sorry, I'm adjusting the mic. And ChatGPT was like, well, you could do a comedy thing and make it all about your awkward moments. You could have different segments. So I'm going to use a lot of those segments throughout the rest of the podcast as I continue to record for you all. I know it's been at this point almost 3 months since our last Visionary Voices feature. We got one coming up. Or maybe it's already posted, I don't even know. But so I'm going to share with you my awkward moments, my most embarrassing moments, especially as a blind girl, let alone, not just in general. So I had a friend in college, and we weren't super close, but we would talk to each other whenever we would see each other. And he used to come over and give me a hug every single day. And this one day, I felt so horrible because I literally, he came around to give me a hug. And he came around to give me a hug, and I reached out to hug him back, and I didn't know that he had coffee in his hand. And maybe it's also partly his fault that he didn't tell me that he had coffee in his hand. But I basically knocked the whole entire thing of coffee out of his hand, and it fell on the floor everywhere. When I tell you, I was so embarrassed and just so mad at myself. I was like, damn, I know I can't see, but I was so apologetic. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and I kept apologizing, and he was like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I was like, no, it's really not. I feel bad. And it was fresh coffee. He literally just spent his money on that. And I was like, listen, how much was it? what, $5 and whatever else you bought? Let me at least give you the money back, and you can buy it downstairs at the cafe, or I can go and get you one. What, how can I, because I felt so bad. I really did. I felt horrible about it. And he was just like, no, I promise you, it's all good. It's all good. And I was like, no, because for me, I hate inconveniencing people. That is my biggest thing. So because I hate inconveniencing people, I felt so sorry. And anytime I would see him throughout the rest of the day, I was just like, I'm so sorry. I was like, did you ever go back down to get your coffee? And he's like, nah, I didn't. I was like, dude, come on, let me at least treat you to a coffee. That is my treat to you, please. but he didn't want to take it. So like I would say that was one of my most awkward moments in the last like 5 years, in terms of college and like that. I have a really big thing with crowds. I hate crowds. I absolutely hate crowds. And because I hate crowds, I get really awkward. And so another time, and I also want you guys to, if you're listening on Spotify, I want you to leave voice messages if you're comfortable with your most awkward moments. I want you to share like what has been the most embarrassing or the most awkward thing that's happened to you, and then I'll play them on the next episode. You have the option to comment on Spotify. If you're listening through Spotify, you can now do that. So yeah. So aside from this one time where I literally dropped his coffee everywhere, I was walking in the halls of my old school, where I graduated from, and the hallways were like super small. Like it wasn't a lot of room for people to walk around. Like you had lockers on one side, you had people going in every which direction. Lockers would be left open because people were getting stuff out their lockers. So like I usually tried not to go walk around in the hallways when it was like people transitioning between classes, but you know what, sometimes you just got to. And so this one day I was like walking, but I'm super confident like walking around with my cane. Like I don't care, I will walk. I don't care if just whatever, I don't care. I always just have like, I just walk really fast. And even my sighted friends have said that, like they're like, yo, you just like, you're like just firing down the hallway, you're just always, moving really fast. And I'm just like, yeah, because that's, like, why not? If everybody else is out here just zooming past me, like, why am I gonna start slowing myself down? And so I just always have been that way, because I'm just super comfortable like with that, and I've never been like, oh, I don't. Anyways, so I'm walking through the hallway, and I was coming back from visiting one of my friends that worked at the school at the time. And she was like, I was like, oh, well, shit, I gotta go back to class. Who's calling me? Hello? Got interrupted by a phone call. So like I was saying, I was walking back from registrar's office to go to my next class, and I just remember there was so many students, like it was like more than there should have been during that time. And like usually the thing is, I've had to direct sighted people on where to find certain offices in the building, especially if like they tried and they just couldn't locate it, or if people gave them the wrong directions. Like I remember back when my friend that used to work in the accommodations office, like before she left, I would be there hanging out, and people would, like, students would come in, teachers would come in, and they'd be like, hey, like they would be asking her specifically, and she always knew, and like she always would like give them directions on where to go. And like one time I guess they couldn't, they just didn't understand like what we were saying. And so I was like, it's fine, like I got you. And so we would always laugh about that, because she's always like, it's so funny to me that like they're the sighted ones, but you're the one like taking them to these offices, showing them where everything is. And I literally like brought one student to the registrar's office one day, because again, like the people I'm speaking about, they're like faculty, but like I became friends with them because like we were just really cool. And so I would always go to registrar because I have a friend who used to work in registrar. And so I obviously knew like where the office was, because I used to be like, girl, I'm coming, I have to go vent to you. I would literally get up the reverse. And I would get up and I would go take these students, take these professors, take these whoever to these offices that they were looking for. And people would just laugh, because I remember bringing this student to registrar one day, And I was like, hey, my friend. And then I told her, and I was like, hey, this, they were trying to find registrar. She's like, thank you, Gabby. And I was like, I got you. I was like, they need to make me the tour guide for these campus like open houses, because I literally knew that building inside out. Inside out. I could tell you where every office was. I could tell you which elevator was going, like everything. Everything. Maybe I'm too loud in the microphone. I remember coming back from registrar, seeing my friend, and there was so many people that I got so disoriented, y'all. So disoriented. And I had to retrace my steps. And with me retracing my steps, I bumped into people. I got a little bit more confused. And so that's why I don't like crowds. Like, me and crowds, no. I try to avoid it at all costs. So I would say, like, those are awkward moments, because I hate being in crowds and being like, everybody's watching me, everybody can see what I'm doing, everybody can see me messing up. When in reality, the truth is they probably cannot, and they probably don't give two flying about what I'm doing. And so, yeah. But I would say that was another awkward one. And then I also want to share some of my biggest pet peeves as a blind girl, and just in general. And if you're listening on Spotify, you have the option to leave me voice messages and share with me your most awkward and embarrassing moments, and also some of your biggest pet peeves. And if you're not listening on Spotify, you can check me out over on Instagram at the Tea Diaries Pod, and leave me some comments over there, and share with me your thoughts. So while we're on that topic of pet peeves, right? Like I said, I don't have many, but the ones that I do have, whew, wow. So I just don't like when people are just assholes. I know that sounds very vague. Like, you're probably like, girl, bye. But for me, when I meet people, and maybe I never encounter them, like have crossed paths with them again, or I never speak to them again for whatever reason, but even if I do, and it's just like on a hey, how's it going type of basis, like, very, very general. I remember in high school, I didn't have many friends. I had a few friends that I would be with consistently, one of who is still my best friend to this day. And, there was other people that I was cool with that I used to like hang out with, but mostly during my senior year. The rest of high school, it was just me and my little group of friends. My lips are so chapped. I remember in high school, I would be in the cafeteria with my friends, and we would be sitting there, and I'm very nice. I'm a very nice person, at least I'd like to think I am. And it takes it like, the only time I will really get mean or really get in a bad mood is when somebody tries to do some shit that really bothers me and really makes me feel upset. And this girl was doing that every day for like a whole week. And I think she was new to the school. She was like in her freshman year, and I think me and my friends, we were already juniors. And you know how high school is. Like, we didn't have this mindset, but a lot of people did, where they were like, oh my gosh, look at the new babies coming in and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut the hell up. You were literally just there, like, literally a week ago. I'm lying, but like, you know what I mean. And also that thing where people would be like, in June, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm already a senior. And I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did that once too, but that's me being hypocritical. That's besides. Oh my gosh, hold on. Hello? Hello? Hello?
What you saying, motherfucker?
I'm recording my podcast episode. You want to say hi to the podcast?
What? I mean, I'm recording.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, just say hi.
Oh, hi, I guess.
hi, I guess. That's all.
I mean, listen, I wasn't expecting to like be out on blast like that. You know what I mean?
What do
I
you
wasn't
mean
expecting
on
that.
blast? You literally called me twice while I was recording this episode. So, and
Yeah,
because of
I
you,
don't know.
I
Was I
fucked
not
up.
meant to?
Because of you, I fucked up the
Okay, so like, is
episode.
this
I had to re-record like two other parts of it.
what? So it ain't live.
No, it's not live. It's a recording.
All right, for real, for real. Just edit
I
it
literally
out
just
then.
said recording like 5 times.
Yeah, edit it out, man. Edit it out. I never called, man. I wasn't even there.
Uh-huh, sure. Okay.
I wasn't. What was you recording about?
I'm talking
What's this
about
episode about?
my most awkward moments and my biggest pet peeves.
Awkward moments and biggest pet peeves.
Hmm.
Pet peeves I've got a lot of, but
Do you want to share one for the people?
I don't know.
No?
I
Okay.
don't. Well, there's some of that just pissed me off a minute ago. Like when people say guys and girls can't just be friends. Pisses me
Oh, yeah,
off.
that's a big one, too. I hate that
listen.
one.
No, it's just because I got a random short and that I see everyone like agreeing with it in the comments and that. Like, the fuck do you mean? What are you talking like? How does that make sense in your head? Like, how are you sitting there telling me that guys and girls can't be friends? I've done it. I'm proof. Talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I've had guy friends before, and people will be like, oh my gosh, do you have a crush on him? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. No, I do not. I would never date that person in 5,000 million gajillion years.
It's just a weak man philosophy. That's all it is.
I guess you could call it that.
It's exactly what it is. Literally, the psychology behind it is, someone of the opposite sex, and she might him. So like, the joy is it's a desperation thing, I think, as well. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure, like, some men do it because they're desperate. You know what I mean? Like every time they're friends with a girl, and back in the mind, think, oh. You know what I mean?
The fact that you just said that like that is the most awkward. Okay, speaking of awkward things, like that was an awkward ass thing. The way you just phrased that.
No, but listen, I ain't finished.
Okay,
But listen,
he's
that's
not
what
done.
it is, 'cause, like, that's what their mentality is. So they think, like every guy and girl like friendship is like that because that's how they think. Like every time they're with a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got loads of friends that are girls, and genuinely, it's never come across my head, not once. I never even thought that.
So you don't want to share? Okay,
Right,
so
put that one little pet peeve on, and that's it.
okay.
Man, I should start my own podcast. It'd get big if I started a podcast on the side. Do you know what my friend keeps saying? That is like, she was on the internet and like let me record some of the stuff. Say like you go viral, man.
Yeah, you would, but you would also be. You would also need to be censored.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'd be cancelled me.
Yeah, you would.
Cancel me straight away.
I'm gonna finish recording and I'll call you after, okay?
Okay, I'll see you later. You call me, man.
Say bye to the podcast. Okay, that was very rude. That was my friend JJ from the UK. Shout out to my friends in the UK. I got a bunch of them over there, and I know all of them have been asking me, when are you gonna come visit us, mate? When are you gonna come visit us? So I definitely need to make a trip out there. But anyways, like I was saying, what was I saying? I think I was saying how, this girl in high school would literally come up to me every day, and she was like new to the school. And she would come up to me and she'd be like, hi Gabby, it's such and such, or no, literally, she would say her name, and then she would be like, do you know who this is? Be like, yeah, you just told me. And then she would proceed to put her hand in my face and ask me how many fingers she was holding up. And finally I had enough. And I have my best friend from high school. Like she's a very quiet person. It takes a lot to like really get her upset. And this one day, this girl came back up to the table, and I knew she was coming up to the table because I heard her. She was like right there. And I turned to my friends and I was like, oh my gosh, like this bitch is so annoying. Like I just cannot anymore. And they were like, well, like especially my one friend, the one I'm still besties with. she was like, well, say something. Like, you don't have to keep tolerating it if you don't, if obviously it's bothering you. And so I was like, all right, say less, right? So she comes up to the table. Hi, Gabby. It's such and such. Do you know who this is? And sometimes she wouldn't even say. I'd be like, yeah, it's, whoever. I don't remember what her name was, but it's be like, yeah, I know who it is. And this one day, she did it, and I just lost my shit. I went off on this girl. I went off on her. And where's my water? Did I drink the water already? Is it on the floor? Oh shit, yes it is. Okay. And I lost my shit with her. And I was like, listen, every day you come up to me, you do the same thing. And you ask me how many fingers you're holding up. And she literally had her hand in my face. Like, I could feel it was like right here. And I literally said, please do me one favor. Get your hand out of my face. I was like, get your hand out of my face. I was like, you need to stop doing that shit. That shit is really annoying. It's bothering me. You do it every single day with no freaking purpose whatsoever. You just come over here and you bother the shit out of me. Like, I went off on this girl. And I don't think she was expecting that, because she was probably like, oh, the blind girl, whatever. And my friend was sitting next to me, and she was like, and then the girl was like, oh my gosh, wow, like, you don't have to be like that. And I hate when people that are bothering you or doing shit to annoy you makes you start to feel like you up or that you did something wrong. I was like, no, you're not gonna make me feel like I'm being mean by saying that. You're invading my space. You're doing that shit every day to get on my nerves. Well, there you go. You got on my nerves. Happy? Now get off them. And so my friend sitting next to me, like, I guess she looked at my friend, and my friend's like, what? Like, you've been annoying her every single day. You were just expecting her to just sit there and, like, act like nothing was happening, or act like you were just, like, gonna keep doing that. Like, no, like, that shit is annoying all of us too. You can't keep doing that. Like, she was fully there backing me, like, supporting me, because I was just like, oh my gosh, this girl, like, I cannot. And so that is, like, my biggest pet peeve, is when I meet people and they just, like, and then if I encounter them again, or our paths cross again, and they're like, oh, it's such and such, do you remember me? Like, or they don't even say that. They're just like, hey, how are you? Do you remember who it is? And I'm like, how am I gonna remember? I only met you once. So with that being said, like, I hate when people do that, because what it does to me is it really bothers me, because it's like, you are just doing that just to bother the shit out of me. And I don't like that. Another thing I'll say before I end this podcast episode is that another thing I really do not like, and I've joked around about this with, like, friends and family before, obviously in a joking way, but, like, one of the biggest things I do not like is when I'm walking and somebody walks in front of me. Like, I'm just Mrs. Popular today. When people walk in front of me, like, I'll be walking here, let's say this is me, and then whoever I'm walking with that's, like, sighted guide, then somebody would walk in front of me, like, directly in front of me, like, right here. Like, if this is me and the microphone is, like, the person in front of me, like, here, and then I step on this person's shoes, I hit them with my cane, I'm using hand gestures to talk, and I accidentally go and I hit them in the back. I've had to tell people, like, somebody did that one time, and I was literally, like, jokingly, I was like, this is why you don't walk in front of the blind girl. I was like, because I'm going to step all over your shoes, I'm going to hit you with my cane, I'm going to accidentally bump into you, just because, like, when I'm walking, like I said, I walk really fast. And so, and so that is my biggest thing, is when people, like, directly, like, I'm not saying get out of my space, I'm not saying you have to move and give me the whole entire sidewalk or whatever. I'm just saying, why you gotta be so close? You're literally right in front of me. Like, sometimes they'll literally just walk right in front of me, and jokingly, like, I've done it with friends and family, so obviously, like, they never took it as, like, damn, she's being a bitch, but I've been like, listen, like, please don't walk in front of me. Like, it just makes me feel like, and then I feel bad, because then I'm, like, stepping all over your shit, I'm, like, hitting you and shit, like, And of course, people are going to get annoyed by that at some point. So I would say like that's another big pet peeve of mine. But shout out to JJ for randomly popping up on the podcast today. If you guys enjoyed hearing him and want him to come on and do another segment at some point, let me know and I can definitely set that up. And yeah, that's about it for me. But like I said, leave your comments, your questions, your concerns, your awkward moments, your pet peeves, your whatever, either through voice messages. If you're a Spotify listener, leave it over. Then you could leave it in Spotify. If you're following me on Instagram, you could do that there too. And yeah, I just want to hear what you guys have to say, what you all have to say. And, there's going to be more content heading your way for Instagram. There's going to be more content coming for the podcast, more collaboration. So I want you all to start getting ready for that. So be sure to follow me either at my main account at g.donza_, and at the Tea Diaries Pod on Instagram. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.